10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, NHRA drag racing is about to get well underway at full song with all the professional categories, all the sportsman categories, the alcohol categories, everybody coming together in one place, and that place being Gainesville, Florida. It's where I'm at now. Dugenais, again, good to have you along for the ride here on the CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour. Gainesville, cannot wait for it.
I can't wait for it either. Man, I've been watching the testing, and I'm super excited.
Little bit of testing.
The little bit of testing. Mother Nature needs to go somewhere right now. Like, take a chill pill, go take a vacation. We got racing to do.
We certainly do. We certainly do. We can talk about Mother Nature. I have almost been here for an entire week, and Mother Nature, there has been a fight. There has been a war waged, and, well, she wins in situations when it comes to what she will throw down and what we try to put out as a racing product. I do want to say from the start of the show, though, the NHRA Division II crew and the Gainesville Raceway crew, they work their butts off to complete everything but the alcohol classes for the baby Gators. So, Dugenais, and we've got Ryan queued up. We'll have him on in just a few moments, folks. I want to say that comment sections, people will just bag on the NHRA. And I don't think, and I think oftentimes when they do that, they intend it to go to people making decisions.
Right.
The higher ups, if you will. But I think they've got to also be careful, because when you say NHRA, you are talking about people who are at the divisional level, and they're at the ticket booth, and they're in the safety safari, they're on the track, they're working to give fans a show with long hours and through all the elements to have drag racing. I saw after the completion of the Baby Gators, the service coordinators for 3 divisions that were in for the Baby Gators take out paint rollers and start painting the starting line to get ready for the Mission Foods era. I mean, they're service coordinators. They could have just went on to lunch. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of good, hardworking people in the NHRA, so be careful when you bag on them.
Yeah, we got to give them praise when it's warranted. And sometimes we need to be a little bit more pointed with what we say and not be so, broad stroke with a brush. You know what I mean?
I agree. Well, I tell you, someone that certainly deserves some laudation for his efforts, that is Flying Ryan Oehler. We're going to have him on the show in just a few moments. Everyone out there, get your tequila, the certain kind of tequila, ready, and get the drinks for who we've got coming on next. And he is certainly one of the cool cats out there in the pits, no matter what category it is. He's already down here in Gainesville. We'll take a break and let him pump us up, just like Weldon High Performance does right here on the CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour. Everybody with me? Tequila. No.
Tequila.
Yeah. Ryan, man, good to have you on the show. Always a pleasure. And we see you're already down here in Gainesville. Did you come by boat? I have to ask.
I mean, you said Mother Nature needed to go somewhere. I'm going to send Mother Nature down to Good Pour off of 75. You can buy some El Bandito tequila right now and drink away that hangover that she woke up with this morning, because it's time to go racing. We pulled up at the starting line today ready to go and was chasing the raindrops, and we just couldn't get in front of them. So we plan to test today, but thankfully, there's a whole nother session available tomorrow. So we'll get after it tomorrow and hopefully get our team in the right direction so we can walk into Friday and have a good day. But you just never know. But we got another one tomorrow. I see sun on the forecast, so we'll see what happens.
Now, I know this season you'll be shooting for consistency. 2-13 round win-loss record last year. Definitely something I know that you want to improve upon. Could you really tell us, were you able to find out what was going on last year, and to maybe what you guys are doing to correct that?
Sure, it's been longer than a year. It's been about a 2-year process. The last time you see me in the winter circle, we came to Gainesville. I'm going to say it was 21. We went to the finals against Matt Smith, was super consistent. Next race, went to Vegas, won it. Next race, we go to Atlanta, and we're on our way to go to a semifinal, and we blew up at the finish line so violently that you lose control. And I mean, it's not spectacular like you see with the top fuel cars and the flames and the sparks, but as a rider on the motorcycle, when you lose half of your engine out the front of it, it gets real aggressive and super hard to control. And at that moment, we'd had a whole bunch of engine failures kind of over about 2 years, and we pushed the envelope of our package just right over the cliff. And we said at that point, hey, I told my dad, we need to go find some reliability. When someone asks you, hey, how many runs you get out of one of those pro stock motors, you say somewhere right now between half and 4, and that's not a good answer. So we went looking for reliability. We found reliability, but we slowed down by about 0.2. So that wasn't the answer. So we went from one Gen 1 fuel package to another kind of fuel package with a different, rotating assembly. And we just couldn't hit the dartboard to save our butts. So we ended up moving into the Gen 2 package, and then it took a whole nother year to really start to pin down the other problems we were having. So now at this very moment in our shop, we got our engine dyno test cell on point. We're killing it there. We've made about 50 polls in the last month and a half. We're over 100 engine dyno polls with our development program over the last 6 months, and we've got brand new engines that we haven't even brought out yet. And we've got our own brew now, so we've got back to where we were, and we also have our brand new bike out on the track. So we just tested that here in Gainesville about a month ago, or no, actually we were in Bradenton about a month ago, and ran our best runs we've ever ran, 3 in a row, and felt really confident about what we had to put out there. And then we went home on the dyno and made about 10-20 more horsepower. So if we can put that horsepower to the ground, and Brad McCoy, my tuner, who's here with me, if we can really, come out and lay down some serious 60-foot numbers, you'll see the scoreboard. You'll see it light up, whether the wind light's on or not. Hey, that's just race day. But we really want to see the times fall and qualifying and see what we can put up there.
But do you have a magic tire?
Tires are very, that's such a black art. I mean, you look at a tire and you go to the Mickey Thompson trailer and you take one out and you look at it and you break it in and you go put it down the track. But I tell you, the tires that have been my fastest are ones that literally have a slit in the sidewall that I've super glued, or have chunks so bad that there's holes in it the size of a golf ball. And you don't want to, Tech looked at me and seen me super gluing my tire after every run because it was chunking so bad. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't see anything in the rules about having a chunk tire, but yes, there is definitely something about having the best traction compound that Mickey Thompson can provide out there on the racetrack. We'll see if we brought it this weekend. That's for sure.
So now we come into this year, and sounds like you got a nice little package coming in here. How's the 60-foot time?
We just ran off the trailer a 105.7 with the new bike, and then we went 105.2. Now, granted, we were at Bradenton, so that's not going to be considered similar to the NHRA prep, even though it was still a slick prep. But it's really, we're thinking that we've seen that the new chassis. Mike Mullaney and I have worked together for a couple of years on this, and everyone's like, "Man, why is it taking you so long for a new chassis?" Well, we built like 4 of them, and we're going to end up building a 5th because we didn't build a copy. We built our own chassis, and we wanted certain things out of that. And I think now, I think we got it. And we also see that, me being on the what I call the Diane Ryan diet, weighing as least amount as possible and really working the ballast is really important. So we're hope to see on average some really good 60s come out of it, and then we know we're headed in the right direction on chassis tune-up.
Outside of that weight in the ballast, could you tell us a little bit about how the chassis works? I know, Top Fuel guys and Funny Car guys explain how that weight transfer, how that the chassis works to, kind of seat the tire a little bit. Pro stock car, same thing. Could you explain that a little bit to us? Because I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Well, on a pro stock bike, it's, it has no suspension. It has 1 inch of travel in the front end, and after that, it's all in what you got going in the back half of the bike with the wheelie bars, the tire pressure, the wheelie bar height, and then how you're tuning it with your clutch and your computer system. So you put all that together, but then it gets even more detailed. Brad's been with us for 2 years now, and he has been a champion in race pro stock, pro mod bikes, and been with no bar bikes, and been real successful. And he really looks at the rider and says, "You just moved 1/2 an inch on the launch," and you see it disrupt the bike. So you see, the little things that make this class so difficult that it's hard to see just from the outside when it goes by in 6 seconds. But when you break it down on slow-mo and you really start to scrutinize the data and see, this is why this class is so hard. There is no room for error, and you see Gage Herrera last year just dominate. Yeah, great bike, great rider, great team. And it all worked. And once they got the recipe right, they knew exactly what to do with it. And they put that combination together. So we're just trying, to advance our combination to where the new chassis with a riding style and a tune-up, really puts it together. But, the true science behind it, it's there. I'm not, really accredited enough to give you that kind of insight. I'm just absorbing the data that my team is putting out there and that we're working together through to make it go quicker. But, the runs we just made when we got, first run in Bradenton, Scotty comes into the track and says, "Well, what'd you think?" I said, "It was either the slowest pass I've ever made or the fastest, because it was so smooth, just absolutely so smooth." And the next pass was the same. And then we gave it a little too much, on the final run we made, and it slowed down to the 60, and you could tell immediately. You felt the bike, hit you. And when it goes real quick, you don't really feel that punch. And it shows, running. I've never been a 104, and we dang near went a 104 60 foot on our, our second pass of this year. So, but it'll really tell the truth this weekend when we get on our usual prep here at Gainesville and see if we can run anywhere close to those kind of numbers. And I think we can. I feel really good about it.
Well, that is certainly good news to hear for you and your program. You're looking good. The bike is looking good. And it must be that El Bandito Tequila thinks that being in NHRA drag racing is good. This partnership continues. And you're more than just someone carrying a sticker. You're heavily involved with pushing this product and advancing it where more people are enjoying this particular brand of tequila. So, how far has this partnership advanced, and how has your program helped their company?
Well, we basically looked at it as, we wanted to take a position within the company. So myself, Scotty, and Katie, who's on our team, and even my wife Laura at home, we've all worked together as a team to go after it. And we recognize the fact that if you want to do well for your sponsor, you got to get out there and sell their product. So we really tried to get heavily involved in the motorsports marketing side of the company, and we really took it over. And we're out there selling into all of our venues. So this weekend, this is the first ever Gator Nationals with a liquor license, and we are the official tequila of the Gator Nationals. So you will be able to sample our product. You'll be able to have our margaritas on tap, and will be sold throughout the racetrack facility. We've got a special dedicated bar area called the Piston Pub, where you'll actually be able to see, we have race cars on display. We'll have a NASCAR on display inside the Top Eliminator Club. And it's going to be really cool. This track is growing, and we'd love to grow with them. They invited us here about a month ago. We did a Chamber of Commerce event with about 200 members of the Chamber of Commerce. We had our El Bandito Racing Experience cars on site. We had El Bandito tequila. So we got all the local business owners boozed up on our tequila, and then we put them in our race car as passengers, and I raced them down the track alongside Sarah, who races in, I think, Top Alcohol Dragster. And her and I made 40 passes back to back to back without even turning the cars off. And it really shows the business owners and everyone around you how much fun drag racing is, and what the experience is, because they all walked away and couldn't stop talking about the fact that, one, our tequila was so amazing, and two, that they got to go on the racetrack in a drag car. And the lasting impression you leave is way up here when you take that approach. And NHRA has invited us to do this more. We're going to be doing it in Indianapolis. We're the official tequila of Indy Raceway Park. We are the official tequila of Texas Motorplex. And these venues see the value of what we're bringing. And with local businesses and everybody, it's a team effort. So we bring this to the table, and I don't think a lot of people can really say they do that.
Where can we find this outside of, if we don't come and attend the Gator Nationals, where else can we find this tequila, and what stores?
So here locally in Gainesville, Good Pour, which is it's right off of 75, one of the main exits there. There's a Publix big grocery store right next to it. They've partnered with us for this particular week, and actually, made it all happen for us. So that's our local outlet that we're really pushing. We're in like the Total Wines. We're in Lukens in Florida and other parts of the state, like Indiana. We're in with Big Red Liquors. That's 100 locations, and that's a big one. Illinois, Jewel Osco, Benny's, and the list goes on. So our website, though, actually has a locator, and we'll show you where we're at. And as we keep growing this business, we're in more and more retail outlets, and you'll be able to see us and spot us, because you're going to see my mug on the end of a shelf, with a cardboard cutout holding up a bottle of tequila, and you're going to know you're at the right place.
That'll work.
I like it. I like it. More engagement with the stars of NHRA being out there from Mission Foods. I love already what they're doing in grocery stores, and you holding a bottle of tequila in that splendid leathers that you've got will certainly look all right there, Flying Ryan. Andrew asks, I think, a timely question. He's curious, what is going on in Pro Stock Motorcycle here lately, where we see more riders falling than I think we've ever seen in the history of the class, honestly?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's the bikes are going faster. That's one, and the way I see it is I have 3 different Pro Stock bikes. They're all Buells, but they all have 3 different brake systems on them. I have and they're all different. You grab the brake lever and they all feel different. Um, Most of these drag strips are all, some of them have aged, and the shutdowns are bumpy at some of them. And on a motorcycle, when they build a drag strip, they don't build it for pro stock motorcycle. Like, that's not the main concern as it's going together. They're building it for the masses, and the masses are cars. So we're out there on these two-wheeled machines, and they're sensitive, and you're riding it, and you're not sitting in a chair with seatbelt on. You're actually part of the chassis, and it hits a bump at the same time you're braking. Suddenly, the force is applied to the brake lever unintentionally, and it catches some of these riders off guard, and then it locks the front wheel up, and you see the bike high side out, roll over. It's definitely a difficult question, because there's a lot of variables that come into play there. And there's a lot of questions, because it all did happen so randomly, that this last year. I'm responsible for, the thing is, when the run's not going smooth and you have to fight it, you have to bring it back. Um, the run's over, unless it's running for the money, and you already haven't seen the guy pass you should be off the throttle, and knowing when to say when and getting out of it is important. I've gotten in trouble because, I rode it out too far, and then I'm fighting to stay off the wall. I've had brake failures and driven off the end of the racetrack, and a lot of different things. But as far as going down, we're all trying to put a vehicle, into a slower speed zone, if you will, in a short period of time, and they keep going faster. And that's the nature of it. So what do? So now, you've got to experience these things so that you can control it when it does happen. Some people say parachutes, and some people say bigger front tires, and better brakes. And I've got brand new Behringer brakes on my bike now, and I've had about 4 different brake manufacturers, and I really like them, but they are really aggressive. But most of us all go for the front brake, and you have a little skinny front tire with a ton of braking force if you want it up front. But the back brake is probably not fully utilized, and now with the new Behringer brakes, I can push on the back brake, and man, that sucker starts to slow down fast. So I think that people really got to get in the habit of doing what it takes to slow the vehicles down properly. Having a really solid back brake setup and utilizing it is something that I think people get in the habit of saying, I don't even need a back brake. I can do it all with my front brake. Well, I guarantee you, if someone jams on the back brake, that the bike is going to not get nearly upset as compared to you jamming on the front brakes. And a lot of it, I think, is just experience with something that's going faster and faster for the class. So that's kind of my opinion.
Do you see a possibility that a parachute might work?
So most of us debate this, and as much as I think it'd look cool, I honestly think that there'd be several situations where you'd see potential death and dismemberment in our group. You have exposed riders. You have a person out in the middle of the wind, and now you got a rope and a parachute swinging around. When it grabs John Force's blower and smashes him up against Robert Hyde or whoever, they're in a car. When it wraps around my head and rips me off the bike, I'm not going to be super thrilled about that. And there's nothing you can do at that point. There's nothing you can do. It's not probably something that, belongs in the class, because it doesn't necessarily need to be there. They compare it to top fuel bikes. Well, all top fuel bikes have it. Well, top fuel bikes weigh 1,000 pounds. So when they pull the chute, it could potentially upset the vehicle. So, and you get this debate because some people think that it's the answer, and I don't know. There has not been really any testing that I've seen. I've never experienced using a chute on a motorcycle, so I just don't think that it's really necessary. It would definitely give us a big advertising umbrella, that we haven't been able to utilize before. But I don't think it's really worth it at that point. This is all about the go and not the show.
Yeah, I agree with you. Crosswinds and other things are very, bikes are very sensitive in that regard. And yeah, it's too many variables, especially if you're dealing with a heavy crosswind. Might not be a good look for pro stock motorcycle rider in that instance.
Sure. It just, I don't know. We all thought at some point maybe that would be something that might help. But at this point, I think that there's enough brake technology out there that if we can utilize, a better back braking system, that might be the answer. A lot of people say a bigger front tire too, because if you have a bigger front tire, you can utilize a lot more braking, through the front brakes. But that just hasn't really been explored yet either.
Yeah, I was surprised when I interviewed Angel for her debut at the Texas Motorplex in Top Alcohol Dragster. She's like, "Yeah, first time I've ever come to a track, and I've never had to worry about wind. It's not even on my mind." So it is so important for you all to know what direction it is coming in and going, and never really thought about that. Certainly a particular nuance to the class. Speaking of the class, Ryan. Articles have come out recently. Cycle Drag always does a good, cycledrag.com always doing a good job, promoting the class and motorcycle drag racing overall. Where is the nature of the class? Is there this infighting, or is it hyperbole? What do you see on whatever camp you might be in, if one at all?
I've always been one that said that this was a pro class. So this is one of the toughest classes in drag racing. And, it is a tough class because, it's set up on a parity level because of the different platforms. You have the Suzuki platform, you have the V-twin platform. And, to me, I've always said that, it's hard to ever talk down about a team that has all the experience, all the resources, and is out there doing really, really well with a great rider. Um, it's tough for the tech department because, the tech department is trying to come up with what they can do to help advance the class and at the same time keep it even. So, when the Suzuki program got a leg up and they got the billet 4-valve heads approved, they also then right away got a billet case approved and a new body approved. A lot of these were necessary. Like, this was all necessary things. They needed billet cases forever ago. The billet head, they needed billet heads forever ago. The new body, hey, that helps promote the new bikes that Suzuki has out there. And it's just tough because the 4-valve head gave them so much more mid-range power and allowed them to just, really capitalize on the front end of the track and the back end of the track, and really made it a really tough thing to catch up to because, you got to have a solid development program to all of a sudden make these kinds of leaps and bounds. Like, if you don't have a big rule change, you need to now go, where am I going to go find 40 horsepower? Well, I'm not going to find it overnight because no one gave me, some major rule change. So, now I think that no, they didn't quite maybe realize that how that would have affected the class at that time. I think that personally, I think that everything needed to be done except for I maybe would have considered instead of a billet 4-valve head, giving them a billet 2-valve head. And that may have kept things a little bit more in check. Because now, we're just constantly in this debate of how, what are you going to do to slow them down? Well, my other side of it is, what are you going to do to speed up your program? Well, I think that the V-twin fuel is totally under maximized, and Matt Smith's program does a great job at showing his performance. But even Matt, Matt doesn't have a gigantic facility behind him with 30, 40 employees that are working towards one goal. Matt does an exceptional job working with great subcontractors, and doing a lot of stuff in house and putting some power to the ground. But still, there hasn't been a fuel team with those kind of resources go into a high level development program and go turn it from a 2.6 horsepower per cubic motorcycle to a 2.8 horsepower per cubic inch. You know, I mean, like, you got to go figure out how to get more power out of them and get it to the ground. And that's what we're trying to do. And, you know, I just have a hard time discrediting a team that is so good and yet has all of these things that are necessary to be good. And I just think that anybody can do anything if they really want to. I think if a Formula One team, like, you know, Mario Andretti's grandson decided he wanted to race a pro stock bike, and suddenly they came out with a Formula One caliber pro stock bike team, whatever their platform they were running, look out. You know, you would see some probably amazing things happen. But, you know, within our world that we're in right now, we are in this kind of a delicate area where, you know, it could end up hurting the sport if, you know, the other teams out there aren't able to kind of match up the playing field. So we'll just have to see what happens and see what can be put together. NHRA does an amazing job trying to police the class, and, you know, you just want to see it be as fair as it can be, and sometimes that gets a little out of whack.
Ryan, before we let you go, very quickly, your favorite drink with El Bandito Yankee Tequila, and where, again, how can we find it?
So I really do like our signature margarita. So there are 3,000 tequilas on the market, right? There are 90 that are 100% additive free. We are one of the additive free tequilas. So our signature margarita is non-concentrated fresh lime juice, agave nectar, water, and El Bandito Yankee tequila. So, and it is available all weekend at the concessions. You can try it. You can sample it over in our sampling area. You can go buy your 16-ounce drink over in our concession trailer. You can come back to me, and if you tell me it isn't one of the best margaritas you've ever had, well, I'll let you hop on the pro stock bike and take a rip, you know?
Well, I know what I'm doing.
Hey, Dugenay, I cover alcohol. I might have to cover alcohol in another way this weekend as well. You never know.
Oh, I will be.
Just saying. That was the first thing I thought of earlier when I heard you say that, the alcohol class. I was like, oh, what are we talking about? You know?
Ryan, man, look, good to have you on. Always good to chat with you. We'll see you chomping at the Gators, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Flying Ryan Oehler, always good to chat with him, and
Yes,
love what he's doing in the sport and progressing and advancing in certainly a highly competitive class. Dugenay, you know, if you want to be competitive on the track, you've got to have the right parts and pieces, and competition products, they are a place in which you can go, the source for those high-performing products. We're glad to have them a part of the ride here at the CompetitionPlus.com Power Hour. Elon Warner next to talk about some bracket stuff.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
And the Bonanza is in the house, and it is about to get even better and wilder in 2024. We're excited, Elon.
Lee, Dugenay, I am too. You know, we got the new website, worked on the off season, and kind of went live over the weekend. And now we are days away from hundreds, if not thousands of people filling out the brackets for the first time in 2024 for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. And I couldn't be, you know, more excited. We I feel like we made huge leaps with the look of the site. We have a lot more stats now. We have league play. We have merchandise. We can start wherever you guys want to, but I'm just excited to get the brackets back up and rolling this weekend at the Gator Nationals.
Yeah, first race of the season. I checked out the site. Had an opportunity to be a part of the testing of it. The first thing I'll talk about is the stats. I was combing through that thing mid halftime at the Valdosta State ladies game and at work today, and the names that are on this thing: David Baca. How did you guys compile all of this? Some of this stuff our guys at the NHRA can't even compile.
Well, I'll be honest. Bob Fry, Dave Dinsmore, they do an amazing job of keeping track of all of these stats. And essentially we worked with them to get access to the stats and then brought them into our program, and we'll continue to update them. And it's a work in progress because there's a lot of data that is still, birth dates, hometowns. Some races are kind of tricky, but our goal is to become a stat resource for drag racing, even beyond Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. You can get to the stats without signing up to be a Drag Race Bracket Bonanza player. I'll be honest, there's so many stats that have just kind of been, some people have this information, some people have this information, but we wanted to just make it available to everybody, like Basketball Reference or baseballstats.com, so that if you're curious about, Artie Allen, you can go and find out how many races he won. Or, Pat Dakin's been racing since the 70s. Well, how many, what do these guys' careers look like? And it was nuts updating those stats, because as I was doing it over the off season, I know a lot about Dale Worsham. Dale Worsham is one of my favorite drivers, but there was a period of time where Dale Worsham was racing Top Fuel and Funny Car simultaneously at the same event. And that threw our stat program for a loop. But you just find out these cool little stats. And so our goal is you can click on it so you can just see active drivers, so you don't get bogged down in drivers that aren't going to be on the bracket. But we wanted to make these stats available, so if you don't know anything about a racer, you can at least look at his or her record at the Gator Nationals. You can look at his or her record last year and just make a little bit more of an educated guess. You can see their hometown. You can see their birth dates. So if you want to pick drivers based on their horoscopes, you can do that. You can just pick all Libras if you want. You can pick all Capricorns. So the whole idea was to provide the stat information to make it easier for nerds to make picks, but also easier for non-drag racing experts to make picks.
That is certainly a great addition. The addition I think everyone was wanting, we've got it, league play. Talk about that rollout and how it's going to work. And I'm curious, like, are you going to create a hashtag toward the end of the year of, like, send in your misery or, your loss bet? And we've got these classic, maybe someone's got to be on diapers on a tricycle and go down the drag strip because they lost their league or something.
I hope we get to that level where when you lose your league, you're having to, if you're a Mac Tools guy, you're having to work with Matco Tools. If you're finishing last in your league, you're having to, wear your fire suit inside out. All the, spend a day at IHOP, eating your way through the menu at Waffle House or whatever. But leagues was probably the number one thing. We surveyed all the players last year. Leagues was overwhelming, besides photos. Leagues was the one thing fans wanted. And Aiden Lampkin at Lampkin Software Solution, who helps us build the site, was able to make that happen. And it's amazing. We really just kind of soft launched it. And we have now, I think, almost 36 leagues already. And the thing that's so cool is I got invited the Texas Motorplex started a league for their employees and their support staff. You know, WFO Radio started a league. There's the Unlikely Motorsports Duo out of Seattle started a league. So there's these groups of people, and then there's just fan leagues that are just starting, you know, leagues with their buddies. And also it's drag racing people and non-drag racing people. And that's the whole goal, is to make that tent bigger. And the cool thing is, if you do your bracket for just the regular drag race bracket Bonanza universe, you can just apply that bracket to however many leagues you're in. So you don't have to fill out 7 brackets. You can just basically copy and paste your bracket into all your various leagues. Or if you want to have a wild card bracket, you can do that. So leagues, I think, are going to be a big deal. We are going to look at ways to highlight the leagues. Promote the leagues. We're talking about on the merch store, we have t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats, but we're thinking about making a drag race bracket Bonanza trophy available that a league administrator could buy to give to their league champions. So there's a lot of things, as we're figuring out how leagues are kind of coming into play. We definitely want to highlight that and shine some love on the folks that are taking the time to start a league.
That's good to know. Especially me having my own show and starting a league with my own show. Maybe it's affordable to where I could do a trophy like that. I am very proud of the plaque that sits on that.
Yes.
Those shells back there. I am hunting for the belt.
Well,
a lot of people will be hunting for the belt. Is there any improvement to that belt?
Well, I will say that the improvement is, last year we did a winner and a runner-up belt. This year we're going to do belts for the top 3 finishers in the countdown, and then we're going to do special certificates for the rest of the top 10 for overall. So,
I love it.
But more importantly, we're having the overall champion for 21 races. I have an idea for that prize that I think will be a game changer for whoever wins it. That will make, if someone's going to compete for 21 races, that is a true ultra marathon. It's like a Top Fuel driver. The investment you're making in doing Bracket Bonanza for 21 races is huge. So I want, if you're the overall winner for that, I want you to get something that is a life-changing prize. So I have something in the works. We're doing sub-series. One is called the Majors, which is whoever gets the most points overall for the Gator Nationals, Winter Nationals, and U.S. Nationals. I'm talking to Katie with Apple Art Girl to make a special series of trophies for that. We will have a special cup trophy for the 4-wide cup for those 2 races. So there will be some significant prizes. We're going to do some more things throughout the year to give people more opportunities to win things. And again, this is still a Werner Communications operation. And, we're just going to try to make it as cool as we can for everybody that plays.
Well, you just
and we're still doing the plaques. So we'll still, for every event, we'll still have the plaques that I'm going to get the drivers to sign. And I'm going to try, we tried that last year. Last year was great success. Bob Task has already tweeted out he wants to sign more plaques, which I love. But my goal is to, when the opportunity presents itself, to have a driver make the plaque even more unique. Like, when Chad Green won the World Finals last year, I had him sign it, the funny car plaque, Chad Green, first win. We gave, Doug Coletta number 50. We want to make that when Erica won at the Motorplex, I had her sign it, winningest female driver, to give that added boost of cool factor to those awards.
Certainly some cool thoughts with awards there, Mr. Warner, and what a great program you've got going on. How cool is it though for you? Because I know you enjoy sports
Mm-hmm.
across the board. That you're going to have brackets going during the month that is for brackets, March.
Yes, I'm hopeful that that's going to help us find some more people, because as people start searching for brackets and games, I'm hoping that kind of we populate into that world. We're hypersensitive to trademark situations when in that college basketball tournament, the folks that run that, keep an eye on their marks and everything pretty seriously. But March is the month of brackets, and to be able to kick it off at the Gator Nationals is really, really cool. And I just love I love games like this that give you a little extra skin in the game, that just make you really, get even more involved in the sport and want to learn a little bit more. And then just the agony and ecstasy of, having a bracket, having a pick. If you pick an upset, the bragging rights, if you're a Dave Richards fan, or Chris King or Buddy Hull or some of these guys, Bobby Bodie that's making a name for himself, you have an affinity for those guys. If you're just constantly picking them, someday they're going to be the winner, and you'll be able to say, I was one of the first guys. I got on the Bobby Bodie train day one. I'm excited to have Tony Stewart as part of the, a player now. I think that's going to be really cool. But ultimately, as a lover of all sports, I just think it's great that drag racing now has kind of that fantasy game, that fan engagement game that all other sports have.
I agree. It's important. I can use the example. So our family started a fantasy league. I'm the commissioner, and we have family members that didn't really watch football. Well, like one of my wife's cousins were watching every week because she had players to play. I like this game because it's the same thing. You don't have to know anything about drag racing, but you really do start caring when you have people you want to win so that you can win. Have you had people come up to you and tell you about how they really never paid attention and now they're vested in drag racing?
It's funny you say that. As when we were testing it last summer, we started with like basically my core group of family and friends. And there's people in my neighborhood that I've known for 15 years that knew I worked in drag racing. But they helped me test, and all of a sudden they are talking about watching the races on TV. And, hey, I'm not going to sleep on J.R. Todd anymore. Tell me, Justin Ashley, but I saw, he changed his look of his car. And so those are the kind of things that I have seen. And it's been cool. I've had people stop me just like at races and like, hey, I play Drag Race Bracket Bonanza with my dad, and we talk about the races now. The Tasca sons, like Bob Tasca, the third sons, used to make their own brackets. They would write out their own brackets for years. And Joey Little, who's Tasca's PR guy, was talking to Austin Tasca, and Austin Tasca was like, man, I found this great bracket game, on Instagram, and I'm playing it. This is the coolest thing. And Joey was like, I know the guy that made that game. He's here at St. Louis. And I went and talked to, to Austin and Cam Tasca, and they've been some of the biggest advocates and biggest, supporters and giving me good ideas. So seeing that level of passion that people were kind of finding their own way, and now you're providing them, with Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, this opportunity to engage with each other and engage with drivers, I just, really makes me very happy, and I take a lot of pride in that. And I just want, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza to create this community that is just kind of fun and exciting for the sport of drag racing.
Elon, last question for you from me. Gator Nationals.
Yes.
Who is that bracket buster?
I am gonna say in Funny Car, give me Buddy Hull.
I like it.
In Top Fuel, it seems kind of counterintuitive, but I would either say, and I would only say he's a bracket buster because he had a little bit of a slump last year, but do not sleep on Josh Hart. I think he is a guy that, doesn't have, got to one final last year, but he's had success at the Gators, both winning in 2021, Pep Boys Challenge last year. Pro stock, give me Mason or Chris McGahey. They ran really well at the Pro Superstar Shootout, and I think that their program's coming around. And in motorcycle, anyone that can beat Gage Herrera, just go ahead and put the mantle of bracket buster on them. I think that until someone, to me, Gage Herrera, I'm a huge fan of his. Last year, with no cockiness, with no arrogance, over the last couple races, he would just come in the press room and be like, "Hey, where are those plaques that I need to sign? Like, let me go ahead and sign those plaques real quick, and then I'll go and do my prep." He was so conditioned to knowing when I come in the press room, I get to sign plaques, and I just thought that was really cool. So those are my picks. And also, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the playbook. Give me Mark Powell in FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown. I think he wants to win this race so bad. He finally got a FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown win last year, but double down on Mark Powell in FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown.
I like it.
And can I answer some of the chat questions real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lonnie V, yes, you can compete in as many leagues as you want. All you have to do is be invited to them. So you can, if there's unlimited leagues, and leagues can have an unlimited amount of people in them. And then as far as for Drag Race Mayhem, how does it work exactly if you have two different brackets for your league? You basically fill out your main Drag Race Bracket Bonanza bracket, and then we can go into your league. It gives you the option of creating a bracket, or you can just apply your previous bracket. So if you go into your league, you can create a bracket, and then you can go into your next league and create a bracket. So that's how that works. I think those are the two main questions. But the way leagues work, invite as many people as you want, play amongst, and also you can self-regulate. So if you only want your league to be on certain races, you can just skip races to still help your overall point total. So it's really kind of wild, wild west on that. So I'm excited. I want everyone to follow us on social media. I think we're going to have a great social media game this year as far as promoting drivers, getting people to fill out brackets. We also have text. That's one thing I want to hit on. If you sign up, if you played last year, you can just sign in with last year's credentials. And it will give you the option to add text notifications. So you can get a text when the brackets open on Saturday night, and you can get a text 2 hours before they close on Sunday for or Monday for the U.S. Nationals. And we also have a Friday tip sheet called Denzi's Deets. PR guru Dave Dinsmore's lending some of his expertise. So every Friday, players that have signed up will get an email with stats and then race-specific tips and tricks for to help you make your picks.
Okay.
Well, I'm just making it clear. If I win the Gator Nationals and I'm going to be there this weekend, I am talking major trash. Just let that be known.
I'm here for it.
It's coming all season, people. And I'm talking trash all season.
I know I've talked to a lot of drivers that are very excited about just the fan engagement. And what I would like is, of course, always playful and good humor, but I'm still waiting for that first fan driver interaction where either a fan is like, "Hey man, you blew my bracket up," or "Thank you for winning this race. You made my day. I won my bracket because you had success." So I'm excited. I really, I think y'all's support was huge for me last year. Lee having me on Power Hour, 3 or 4 times. Janae, having me on your show and your support on social media has been great. So I can't thank you guys enough, because helping spread the word is the biggest thing. I just want to get as many megaphones on it as possible so people can play and invite their friends.
Well, Elon, thank you for all that you do, but in particular, yes, certainly this. Drag racing needed it. It was well overdue, and it's already successful, and it's only going to be more successful. So keep up the good work.
Awesome. I appreciate it, fellas. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Well, Dugenais, many people, when they experience that bracket buster, they are going to wish they had something protecting themselves, as if they were a piece of machinery like an engine. Well, sadly, they don't have that. But engines do have that, whatever application you may have in the racing world. Redline Synthetic Oil and all of their products, they can give you the confidence when you go into the red line. A word from them, and then we're going to continue to talk drag racing.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Dugenais, we need to say congratulations to Derek Ward winning $100,000 down there at Bradenton Motorsports Park in Florida for the World Series of Pro Mod. By the way, that's a slick looking Pro Mod.
Yeah, that's awesome. Heck of a job. It was a hell of a race. For him to come out on top like that. So many big names, so many great cars. It wasn't easy, but he came out on top on that one. That was a great race, though. Great race to watch.
And, speaking of watching it, I think everybody's got to give it a shout out to Jay Warren, NC Pro Modder. Jay has been out there for a very long time and doing his thing and making a name for himself in the way in which he does live stream and photography. And I know Jay personally. I've had him on my show Between the Slicks before, and he does solid work, and he's passionate about drag racing being presented well, and it growing and becoming great again. Make drag racing great again. He always says that, and I applaud his efforts. And when Flo went down, and I'm glad nobody was hurt, I'm glad that it wasn't more extreme than what it possibly could have been. Right. But I'm also glad that Jay was there, and what a great example of dedication and faithfulness to a mission, a cause, a dream, allowed and availed for him that day to step up. And it is so cool for him in that moment. Now, I will say for everyone out there, cut Flo some slack, because these productions are harder than you think.
Yeah. They
are challenging, and you can have so many things fail. And if you want to knock Flo, well, remember, there's been issues with TV with the NHRA. I can remember Bristol, like someone yanking a cord, apparently, and power was lost, and they were holding things. I mean, stuff can happen, and it will happen. I do know a lot of people are upset over this with their Flo subscriptions, and that's your choice and that's your decision. The only thing I do know with Flo is that if you are a drag racing fan, I think after this period, you're going to be getting less than what you signed up for. Funny Car Chaos is not on Flo anymore. You also do not have NMRA, NMCA on Flo anymore. You're going to have less small tire. So really after this period, especially if you're a Nitro fan, you're not going to see that on there until maybe the next Pro Shootout, whenever that does roll around.
Yeah, I only got the month, and it's unfortunate, but this is it. That was the big finale. So
I'm so glad Jay Warren was there.
Yeah, he saved the day.
Kudos to him. Kudos to him. And if you want to follow him, maybe you're not following him and you're watching this, that is NC Pro Modder on Facebook. Give him a sub on YouTube as well. Literally, it's a one camera setup. That don't just think he's holding a cell phone. He's got more. He's fleshed out that rig, if you will. But it's a one camera setup, and he's announcing while filming and giving you the information, and does a tremendous job in the way in which he does it. And I think it speaks volumes too, that let the consumers choose how they want to consume. I will say this: if you are at a drag race and Jay's there, don't go to him and say shut down on elimination day. No, don't do that again. He saved your behinds. Don't do it again.
I agree.
Don't relegate him to testing. Let the man cook. Okay.
Yeah, because you never know.
Cooked.
Yeah, you never know when something can crash, and you lose a lot of eyeballs to a big event. So yeah, let that man cook.
For sure. Good event overall, and glad they were able to get through it and work through it. So glad that Jay was able to help out. And again, good news to have and see that dedication pay off in the moment, and that he was able to be put in the limelight and thrusted out there in that way and be able to carry the weight. One of the most historic drag races that there is took place last weekend, and that is the March meet at their Famoso Drag Strip, Bakersfield, California. And we're going to go through the winners here. Top Fuel, Tyler Hester picks up the win in Top Fuel. Corey Lee in the Peddler goes out there and gets the win in a stacked, tough Nitro Funny Car field. And then my man, Lyle Greenberg, in the Cone Hunter, not in Corvette Nostalgia Funny Car trim, but in altered trim, having to manage the throttle and the track, gets it done in one of the toughest fuel alter fields that I think March Meet has seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about that? It's nice to see some old school drag racing, those type of cars getting up and down the track. And it is a tough deal. And, it's no slouch. It's a very good race, and there's big time competitors in it. Man, I definitely want to get out and be there in person.
The March Meet is a spectacular event and venue, and it should be something that I think every drag racing fan flocks to and gets it checked off the list. I think it is something that every competitor should figure out. How can I go compete at the March Meet? I mean, we're talking about the biggest names of drag racing have went there and competed, and it is a spectacular event. I'm glad it worked out this year, that they adjusted the schedule enough that someone like a Ron Capps was able to participate, and other individuals out there. It is a good compromise right before the Gators having the March Meet, and you've got those individuals. And by the way, if you want to see March Meet footage, it's not streamed, but you can see eliminations right here on CompetitionPlus.tv. That's the YouTube channel for CompetitionPlus.com. You can see eliminations for Nitro Funny Car, Top Fuel, and also Fuel Altered from the March Meet right here on the YouTube channel for CompetitionPlus.com. Dugenais, in the comments section, Andrew brings up and asks us, did you see Sonoma tore down their tower? Yeah, did you happen to see that?
I did not. I did not know that they had tore that down.
They did. They tore it down, and a lot of people may be looking at that and go, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, I don't think it is a concern of drag racing being lost at that venue. That venue is making major upgrades. They repaved the entirety of the road course. That is a massive investment for a
Huge.
track of that size, and you're doing it in the Bay Area. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think we're going to be losing drag racing anytime soon. Alan Reinhart mentioned it on WFO Joe today that more than likely their perch will be the radio TV type of setup where NASCAR personalities announce from. And he actually said that that's a better spot. It's interesting when you go from tower to tower how challenging it can be in some towers to see what the heck is actually going on, even where the announcer sits. I remember the first time that I announced a drag race, the tower was beautiful, but the way in which it was situated, though it's a great facility where I was at, you had to like lean up against the glass to see the scoreboards as they were going down the track and announce. Because I don't believe in relying on the computer. I want to see the race and not just read off of the computer. So to see the scoreboards, had to like lean and we're not now. And it was that type of situation. But I think it's going to be a better future for Sonoma. They're making upgrades. Don't think of it as a takeaway.
Yeah, a lot of these tracks have been around a long time, and some of those towers have become, you say, kind of they're dated and needed to be upgraded. I think when I think of that, I think of Gainesville. They had the old tower. I had never been in the old tower, but I always thought this new tower when they got this one done, that this one was a lot better. And being in it has a lot of space, probably one of the more spacious ones on the circuit especially for the media.
Especially for the media, and it is a lovely tower, artistic, really fits, and it stands out. Like you are looking at Gainesville Raceway when you see the tower. I think of ZMAX. ZMAX is a great place for media, yet it sits kind of low. I wish it set higher for you to be able to see a little better. One place that's strange to me, facility wise, though it is nice, Las Vegas, very small media area for a track of its caliber and under the ownership that it is. Nonetheless, great facilities, but
right,
more room, the better, and higher up, the better.
Exactly. So you can actually see something.
Right. You can actually see something. Drag Racing Mayhem, he says, I would love to see fuel alters with modern nitro engines in them. Well, I would love to see more of them competing regularly because what you're asking for, well, you have seen it. Remember, Richard Hartman, Tim Wilkerson, that record run dipping into the fours, and also 300 miles per hour. That is that type of combination, and War Wagon. That altered, who actually holds the speed record because they did go faster than Richard Hartman and Tim Wilkerson on that weekend, though they didn't do 300 mile per hour first. Those are those type of combinations in which you are referring to.
Now, didn't they bring the altered bodies that you could run an old school body in the alcohol class?
Not altered, but you can run a nostalgia body as far as a funny car body, but not altered. Granted, I think that would be cool. The way they run alcohol down in Australia is, you can run like a front engine dragster, you can run an altered, you can run a regular dragster, you can run a flopper, and they all kind of run together. And Russell Mills, I believe that's his name, down there has got that combination of like everything, the long extended funny car body that's narrow on a front engine dragster chassis, but it's an altered at the same time. And what is he doing? And every time a photo of it goes up, it certainly has nobody in the middle on that car. It is it is, oh, I love it, I love what he's doing, or oh, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Nonetheless, he performs with that machine. And the last time that I got an update and looked, he was actually leading the points in pro alcohol in
Man,
Australia, which that's not anything new for Mr. Mills, though.
right. Yeah, I'd love to see it out there. Those old school bodies. Now, I'm sure weight is an issue, so I don't know what the difference is on that, or whether they can make those in the modern style or way they make these new ones. But yeah, I'm everything is about weight these days. So if you want to go fast, you're trying to be as light as you can.
It is, and on that, I had a conversation with Bob McCosh, and we were talking about Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith, though Smith Family Racing is just that, they're a family operation. They don't go to many national events. When they do show up to national events, they perform extremely well. And oftentimes you find them winning regional events, such as the Nitro in the Bayou race there at Belle Rose, Louisiana, for that divisional regional meet. Well, they run a Ford Mustang body in alcohol competition, which is certainly a rarity right now.
Right.
And Bob McCosh said, you look at their program and look what they're able to do. He's like, I don't think the Camaros quite have that 3 mile per hour edge that we like to think that they have. That what's critical, more so than the body, is getting your program where it's happy, from the pistons through the bell housing to the transfer of all that horsepower to the track and on down the track. So if someone wanted to attempt a nostalgia body, and if they were running a nostalgia body like we're seeing at the March meet, those style of Camaro bodies, which are in essence a pro mod stretched and tweaked body without doors, I'm not sure you would be lacking performance that much compared to the modern day bodies that are out there on the top alcohol cars. No one has tried it. Maybe we'll see it one day. But if you already have a body, I don't think it's worth making that distinction right now. I think it would be better in that world at the moment, per the rules and its allowance, to figure out the injected nitro funny car combination.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned something about with that, talking about just the program, and this takes me back to the pro stock motorcycle made up, or whatever you want to call it, one person, one sided beef here with Vance and Hines here. And I've said it all the time. It's about putting in the work. And I think Ryan made that pretty clear about putting in the work. And they have put in the work. And I don't believe in discrediting someone because you have a perceived disadvantage. Now, I spoke with Eddie about certain things. I know crankshafts was something that was brought up, but I've also learned that if you're pushing your bike really hard and it's not happy, your crankshafts are going to be a problem. If that was if crankshafts were such a big problem, then why aren't other people that are running Vance and Hines cranks having the same problem? I don't think Kelly Klontz was having that problem. I don't think other folks that were that are running their products are having that problem. So, it's really about putting in the work. It's why I say, yes, sometimes rule changes need to be made, but I also think there don't need to be knee-jerk reactions. And I understand the NHRA and their tech department has a tough job of being able to try to find that happy medium of keeping the class competitive and then understanding, okay, well, this is just a team that's just kind of put in the work and gotten there. And I'll use Steve Johnson as an example. Steve got called a hobby racer, and at that moment when he was called that, I said it personally. He just didn't put in the same amount of work as someone else that was putting in the work. Now, when he put in the work, look at what happened to his program. So all the made up beef that we're trying to generate here against Vance and Hines is to me a joke. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to win and if you're that pissed off, then I suggest you get in the lab and get to work. That's all I'm saying. All that complaining, all that belly aching. I mean, at the same time, you can get the same stuff that they got, and all this other stuff about, all that past stuff. We need to leave that alone. But the bottom line is putting in the work, and I thought Ryan made that clear tonight, and that's exactly how I feel about it as well. Put in the work, and it will show up on the racetrack. So many people have done it, and as Eddie said on my show, the best bike wasn't out there last year, but the best bike is coming back this year. And that's that V twin of Matt Smith. So we're going to see. We're going to see.
If there's someone out there that's going to work, it's him.
Absolutely. And that's my thing. That's just my thing. All that complaining is falls on deaf ears with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a bunch of elementary school kids complaining about somebody maybe got one piece of candy more than somebody else. Like, come on, man. Like, we're professionals here. You guys, everybody got a rule book. Everybody got to go and get to work to make that kind of horsepower. And last year, Vance and Hines got after it and put in the work. We're going to see who steps up this year to try to knock them off of that pedestal.
Right. Work that is happening, Andrew asks us about, what do you guys want to see from the new Indy Tower as far as looks or accommodations there at Indianapolis Raceway Park? Andrew, I will say, honestly, at the top of my list, even more than media room spaciousness, is as an individual who films, I value very much rooftop video photography platforms. I wish every tower across the country had a place for photographers and videographers to go set up their equipment to shoot from. So that is on top of my list. I do want it to be a futuristic world-class tower that reflects the history, yet possibly the future of drag racing. So outwardly, let's have it futuristic. Let's make a statement for the place that the biggest drag race in the world happens. But when you go into it, you're reminded of what it is literally built upon. Those are my things.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Maybe a cool, actually very cool interactive winter circle in front of the tower. Like, nobody's doing that effectively. That'd be neat.
Right. Yeah, that would be neat too. That could be something that would be not only good for display for the drivers, but good for the fans to be involved in as well.
Yes. It'd be cool too. I mean, I don't know how wild they're going. I don't think concept art is out yet for it. I haven't seen as but it would be cool if it had a wraparound effect and connected to the skyboxes that were also mentioned that were going to be built, and maybe even something going over and connecting to the I believe it's the top Eliminator Club even at Indy. I don't know, they could go wild and it could be very futuristic and quite a statement, and I hope it makes that anyway.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Anybody else?
Lonnie said who are our picks.
Yes.
And the pro classes for the Gators.
Oh, man.
It's tough, man.
It is tough. It is tough. I think you have to, in funny car, I think someone with the momentum is going to continue with the momentum, and that's Bob Tasca.
Yeah. I like him, but I'm also leaning towards Austin.
Okay. Yes.
I'm also leaning towards Austin Prock. That momentum coming out of that Pro Superstar shootout. Both of those cats are going to be tough. If they meet each other in the finals, I think it's going to be one hell of a finals, and that's a toss-up.
Yes.
To be honest.
Another individual in funny car has a knack for going rounds at the Gator Nationals. J.R. Todd.
Yes.
He is a solid bet at the Gator Nationals for some reason. Just has an affinity for that place.
He comes in and he quietly, like, it's not like he's coming out here and, making buzz. He's just quietly just knocking people off as he goes. So, yeah, he does have a lot of success there.
Yes. My pick, Bob Tasca. So Top Fuel, what a stacked field we have in Top Fuel. I'm going to go Tony Schumacher.
I'm going to go with the hometown kid. I'm going with Josh Hart.
Okay, good pick.
He needs a win. I
should have went with Josh Hart. He's helping me with alcohol coverage this weekend, this past weekend with OcalaTrailer.com. If you're needing a trailer, OcalaTrailer.com from Central Florida and beyond. Look towards Mr. Hart to get your heart filled with the right trailer. We'll put it that way at OcalaTrailer.com. Yes, that he does well, and even though he didn't do well in eliminations last year, he did win the call-out.
Yes.
And the year before that, makes a debut and wins. So he certainly knows how to do well just up the road from Ocala.
Yeah. Pro stock, man, it's hard for me to go against the six-pack champ, but I'm going to go with somebody that I feel is hungry and would like to get the year started off on a quick note. And I'm going to go with Camry Caruso.
Wow. Okay. Camry Caruso for the Gator Nationals. That is a different take for sure. Different pick. I'm going to go with Erica Enders. Erica Enders has not done well lately at the Gator Nationals. It has not been nice to her.
Yeah.
But I think her getting over the big money race hurdle also puts her over the Gator Nationals recent hurdle that she has been having such a hard time getting over. You're going to see that car fire up each and every round and fire up from the winner's circle to ride it back.
Yeah, she's going to have that. This is one of those things. This is one of these races and one of these things where, people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and some of your greats, Serena Williams, they find a way to have something to be ticked off about coming into here. And what she's going to be mad about is the fact that she looked bad last year, and she's not wanting to repeat that. And I think that makes her very, very dangerous.
Right. I agree. Pro stock motorcycle, until I see something other than Gage Herrera, I'm going Gage Herrera.
I would go out on the limb because I have seen Richard Gadsden, but I'm not sure how that bike is running yet. So I'm going to have to go with Gage.
Yeah. Oh, we know he can ride. It's just a matter of what horse he's got under him.
Exactly.
And we know it will be a quality one, but will it be of such quality that it is able to beat the steed that Gage Herrera has been on? Either way, Dugenais, we have got NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing about to fire up. Now, I do want to make the distinction. Everybody's out there. NHRA is about to start their season. No. NHRA already started the season. It started like 4 weeks ago in Orlando, technically, right here in Division 2, the Southeast Division. It fired up the entirety of the NHRA with a divisional meet. So the NHRA drag racing has already been well underway, but in particular, the Mission Foods Series Pro Mod, along with FlexJack Factory Stock Showdown, about to fire up.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Mother Nature needs to pull up a chair, drink some Bandero tequila, and sit back and watch the action and keep herself out of the way.
Yes. I hope that is the case.
And
Well,
I will be getting some tequila. I'm telling you that right now.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I might join you down there covering alcohol.
Yes. Literally.
Literally. Both ways. Both ways. Well, to each and every one of you out there, hit that like button, hit the share button. Thank you for watching the Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm Lee Kraft. Over there's Mr. Dugenay Bland. And Dugenay, you've got a show coming up. What is in store for the Not Bland show?
Well, we're going to have Elon Warner on tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit deeper into the drag racing bracket bonanza deal. We're going to talk a little bit of Gator Nationals on the back half as we close it and as this season gets off. And man, I am super, super excited. I've been more focused on like D2 and all this other racing. I hadn't even looked at not one combine, not one draft thing at all. I've been 100% locked in on drag racing, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get there on Saturday.
Hey, drag racing is alive and well, and we're about to get more of it this weekend for sure. I will be live tomorrow from the Bernie Speed Shop Fan Fest, firing up the Gator Nationals. The Gator Nationals is a great way for any drag racing fan to get their feel. You've got this spectacular fan fest that I'm sure is going to be an annual thing from now on with Josh Hart's Bernie's Speed Shop and OcalaTrailer.com facility, car show and live music and food. If you want to buy a hot rod, I'm sure he'll sell you a hot rod while you are there, with a great autograph session of the pro drivers and alcohol drivers and sportsman drivers. Roll that into Thursday with qualifying for the sportsman classes, including alcohol, and you have the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony and dinner. Then you have the Gator Nationals pick up Friday. This particular Gator Nationals, they have a screening of a new documentary for Shirley Muldowney happening on Friday night. I believe tickets can still be purchased for that. And then Shirley and Amanda Busick will have a Q&A after the screening. And you roll right into Saturday and Sunday for everything that is Gator Nationals. It's at full chomp.
Yes, I'm loving it.
Dugenay, it's been good. Everyone out there, thank you for watching. Enjoy the Gator Nationals.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.